Ask not what your country can do for you.
John F. Kennedy represented a breath of fresh air as the nation entered the decade of the 60s. He was young, handsome, and rich, a war hero who just a few years earlier entered a storybook marriage with Jacqueline Bouvier, as seen in this rare footage from the wedding. But for all his good qualities, Jack Kennedy had a wandering eye, and in Las Vegas he found a place that could help satisfy his appetites.
We are also delighted to have in our audience Senator John Kennedy from the great state of Massachusetts.
Kennedy became friends with the infamous Rat Pack in 1954 after charter member Peter Lawford married into the Kennedy clan. JFK partied with Lawford, Frank Sinatra, and other Rat Packers, both in Hollywood and later in Las Vegas, while Jackie stayed at home. Newspaper records show Kennedy's first visit to Las Vegas was 1956. He made a speech, then met a string of young women supplied by Lawford and Sinatra. He was back again the following year for another speech and more entertainment, according to Lawford. Along the way, the senator became acquainted with the men who ran Las Vegas, including mob ambassador Johnny Roselli. Family patriarch Joe Kennedy was already well known to the mafia, including Chicago kingpin Sam Giancana, the mob overlord of Las Vegas.
The old man Kennedy was a very close friend of Giancana's. They were in business together in the old days, in the bootlegging business.
Kennedy made 3 trips to Las Vegas in 1960 and even won the endorsement of the Review-Journal. Nevada and the nation voted Kennedy into office in November. Frank Sinatra accompanied Jackie at the inaugural ball. During the 1960 campaign, while at the Sands Hotel, JFK had been introduced by Frank Sinatra to Judith Campbell, and they began a 2-year affair that later proved an embarrassment. Campbell was simultaneously seeing Sam Giancana, and FBI boss J. Edgar Hoover found out about it. 1962 saw another Kennedy visit to Las Vegas, this time for a 2-hour inspection of the test site, accompanied by Nevada officials. The Nevada public seemed to adore the president, but some Las Vegas residents were upset about a Justice Department crackdown on the mafia. Mob leaders said they had helped get Kennedy elected, and they wanted the feds to back off.
They were putting ungodly pressure on Sam Giancana, as we all know. He was under surveillance 24 hours a day in Chicago, and finally it got to him, and he talked to Roselli and said, tell Frank Sinatra to talk to the president. After all, we helped the Kennedys get elected.
If Sinatra did, it didn't work. FBI wiretaps picked up Giancana and other mob leaders plotting to kill Kennedy. Roselli later testified that the mafia had hired 2 hitmen to do the job, and a House subcommittee concluded it's 99% likely the mob killed JFK. Becker, among others, believes the seeds of that alleged conspiracy may have been planted here in Las Vegas.
I knew, you know, as we all did here, the peccadillos of dear old President John Kennedy when he was here, but nevertheless, he was a human being.